Okay guys, let's talk free agency so far. And in case you missed it, I did a video on the MPJ Cam Johnson trade and the Bruce Brown signing was in there too. We are still waiting on Ayton. As I do this, he clears waivers on Wednesday. We're also waiting on Big Al and something to happen with Kuminga. So anyway, let's go right to the Rockets. Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella. They get another good defender after Dillon Brooks was in the KD deal, and now they have a lot of insurance at the center position. I assume we are still going to see some of the Şengün Steven Adams lineup this year from Udoka. And then as far as Dorian Finney-Smith, the second time that Luka's buddy has left him, we all know Udoka loves to have guys switch on defense whenever he can. KD, Jabari, Tari Eason, Dorian Finney-Smith, Amen. It depends on the lineups and all that, but they're going for it, man. I mean, this team should once again be one of the best defenses in the league. And now you got KD to make shots, make everybody's life easier. Amen's going to take another jump. I'll say this. When I end up doing my who is the most watchable team video in like 2 weeks or whenever I usually do it, the Rockets are going to be an S tier. And of course, Finney-Smith being a good shooter as well, it's just icing on the cake, man. You think about lineups with these guys, you can go, of course, one big with Şengün, that's how they're going to start. We're going to see Şengün and Adams some. Could even see some small ball five. I mean, they got a million wings who could serve in that role. And then I'm assuming Finney-Smith, he'll keep up all that Rockets, just physicality and tough defense. I mean, Udoka's going to love Finney-Smith. Next up, we got to go to the Hawks. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, as well as Luke Kennard, but Nickeil was the big one. Hey, I was already saying, with getting Porzingis and his rim protection, if he's healthy, the defense was already looking better around Trey, and now you just got an awesome on-ball defender who's going to play hard as hell, make threes, and also be a solid passer in the flow of the offense. Like, Nickeil would just sometimes have these games with the Wolves where he just pops off and not just taking wide-open threes or getting wide-open layups. We got Dyson, Nickeil, Reese Shea's a good team defender, Porzingis rim protection, Okongwu's good, he's just not as big as Porzingis. Of course, KP needs to be healthy, but we of course cannot forget just the growth Jalen Johnson had this previous season, like making plays, playing off of Trey, or like pushing it himself in transition, stuff like that. I mean, if Porzingis is healthy, or you know what, I should reword that. If Porzingis plays enough, he's going to miss games. Yeah, they should be way better. I mean, Dyson's going to be getting like deflections and all types of steals. Nickeil's just going to be a nightmare on the ball. I mean, Dyson will as well, but you know what I mean. Now, I do think they probably could still use some more ball handling. They did lose LeVert. He's going to the Pistons. But still, they're getting good players. They're doing it without really hurting themselves long-term financially. Like, KP's on an expiring, and they still got this amazing pick from the Pelicans, where either the Bucks or the Pelicans can fall apart. Good stuff from Atlanta. Okay, let's go to the Clippers. They got Brook now coming off the bench. Bucks legend Brook Lopez. It's possible that Brook is washed, but if there's still something there, I think the Clippers, especially on defense, are the right team for him. He's going to be playing against bench lineups, backing up Zoo. There's good defenders here with Derek Jones and Chris Dunn especially, Batum as a team defender as well, to where hopefully Brook doesn't have to try to bail out defensive breakdowns, but more so just be part of a good bench defense, however they do the lineups, where he just drops back on screens, tries to protect the rim. We'll see where the three ball is at. He still has these moments of being an inside scorer. If he's still got something in there, I think he could be a good backup. And also, who the hell is the Bucks center now? Now let's go to D'Lo with the Mavs. Of course, they needed a point guard until Kyrie comes back, and then D'Lo can back up when Kyrie does get there. And it's definitely not a lot of money. It's like 2 years, $13 million or whatever. I think what this comes down to is what the hell happened to D'Lo's efficiency this past season? Okay, like, should you be concerned that his three-pointer was just way worse this past year? Or do you just say, well, for all of his career, he's been good from three, so that'll be okay. What is also alarming is his rim rate has been going down, and he was never a big rim rate guy anyway. I mean, D'Lo's never been exactly a speed demon, we'll say. And so we'll see if he can just create enough separation, get downhill enough on screen actions to kick out to Clay, PJ, although I do wonder what PJ's minutes are going to be, given the Dallas' whole front court thing is different now with Cooper. And you're going to see some D'Lo Cooper flag two-man game. It's not going to be as good as Kyrie. Hopefully you can find Anthony Davis enough for entry passes or whatever. They'll run some empty side D'Lo AD pick and rolls. Like, it'll be overall probably fine. There's definitely a line with which you don't want to cross with how much of your offense you give to D'Lo, and this could influence more of Cooper Flag running the offense early on, and we do like that. Tie us to the Magic. Well, there you go. I spent however long in that video talking about, well, they probably still need a point guard, even if I didn't say this in the vid, but the point guard would not end up starting. Like, Suggs, Bane, Paulo, Franz, Wendell is their starting five. Now they got Tyus, the go-to, we need a point guard and we want to do it on the cheap guy that NBA fans always do. Tyus coming off the bench is where he should be. Off the bench with multiple guys who can also handle and draw attention, and then he can sprinkle in his pick and roll actions and just be really efficient with this assist turnover stuff off the bench. That's good stuff. The one thing I will say, I don't want to be a hypocrite, okay? I already said I think they need a point guard. They need a veteran point guard. They got one. Good stuff. I will say the Suggs, Bane, Paulo, Franz offense, plus a center, is still going to have enough playmaking itself because you're really not going to want to take anybody off the floor. Like, you need Paulo and Franz. You're going to need Bane shooting, and you're going to need Suggs perimeter defense. So while Tyus can help, those four are going to have to still have enough of a free-flowing offense where hopefully the ball just doesn't die that often. This is mostly just for last 5 minutes of a close game, that type of stuff. Bane's movement shooting will help that. Paulo and Franz just being really good helps that as well, of course. And Anthony Black will do some stuff too. Next up, Luke Kornet to the Spurs. The Celtics front court just got even worse. Still don't know what Al Horford's feeling right now. They did get Luka Garza, we'll talk about that in a second. As far as Kornet on the Spurs, hey, just having a center who can back up Wemby for 10 to 15 minutes a game or whatever it is, and the minutes just don't crater for you, that's all you can ask for. So, okay, let's get to the Lakers with LaRavia. I know about all the reports about Pelinka wanting to save cap space, and Laker fans hate him again and all this stuff. As far as all the center movement so far and them not getting anybody, I mean, it's either they've already got a center in mind, could be Ayton, could be a trade. Laker fans are dreaming of Kessler. If it's not any of that, then I have no idea. As far as LaRavia, he will make threes and he will switch across a few positions because he's like 230-something pounds. And he'll make some pretty okay passes just in the flow of the offense. So that's cool. We'll see with Ayton. If they get him, somebody else, who knows. Now we have Karras to the Pistons on a real deal. It's like 2 years at about $14 million per season. How much of this is in reaction to the Malik Beasley stuff? I don't know, but they had to scramble after that, I would imagine. Doing a quick scan of Pistons internet, I'd say there's been like a mixed reaction, at least from what I've seen. Look, I was skeptical on Karras being able to help the Cavs, but he toned down some of his shot attempts. He was a bit better of a defender, a little better of a playmaker. I mean, he was showing off passing skills like way back in Brooklyn if we want to go far enough now. But he always kind of had that scoring mentality. I think he will help the Pistons as an on-ball and off-ball player. Although I forgot how rough his numbers were in the playoffs for the Cavs, but regular season-wise, I think he's good. Ty Jerome to the Grizzlies. What does this mean for Scottie Pippen Jr.'s legacy? Jordan Clarkson to the Knicks. So if Clarkson still has some juice as a bucket getter off the bench for them, okay, especially because this is for the vet minimum, which means I believe they still have the taxpayer mid-level, which is like $5 million. If they could get another guy who could help the defense and perhaps make a three at the same time, that'd be cool, but it's tough. They don't have a lot to work with. Kevon Looney to the Pelicans. Warriors legend Kevon Looney gone. So now we got Yves Missi, pretty prototypical center. Derek Queen wants the ball in his hand so he can create for himself with like real dribble moves. And now they got Looney. Sure, why not? And then as far as Luka Garza and my Celtics, I mean, he can score. I don't know if he's going to play much, but he can score. His per 36 stats go crazy. And I'll save this for some Eastern Conference video I end up doing at some point. But the Celtics front court, I get it. Like, we're in a transition season or whatever the hell. This front court's looking rough, man. I don't know if Horford's coming back. Anyway,